Hello, 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 everyone. This is Coach Sybil Cures coming to bring a quick training. And today's topic is going to be establishing a investor plan. Investor planning. Okay. So I just want to give a quick disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I am a licensed financial professional, but I am not a financial advisor. Any information that I share is solely based off my personal experiences as well as what I've learned while in the investor stage of my financial growth. And so I just choose to share this information to people to help them get their wheels turning, okay? And so this is primarily for the group, the Let's Talk Money group. Thank you guys, all of you who are here, being a part of this group, taking back some information that I post, also getting involved in some of the financial vehicles that I've shared and presented to you all. Listen, there's nothing better for me than to see other people reap the rewards of things that I share. It is very rewarding for me. So those of you who are here, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So that's my disclaimer and my introduction and welcome. All right. Now we are here because I choose to give some information to those people who are new to the realm of investing. Some people are at the stage where they're excited about seeing their money make money for them. Okay. It is exciting, but I would be remiss if I did not also present the ways that you have to have in the forefront of your mind as you choose to delve in the arena of investing. You have to have a plan. Whenever you're dealing with money, always have a plan, some type of plan. How many times have we gone to Walmart or the dollar store with an intention of spending a certain amount of money or just picking up one or two items? But when we leave, we've acquired a lot more in our carts and we spent a lot more than we intended to. Okay. I can't tell you how many times a dollar turned into $100 for me in the dollar store, right? But the point I'm trying to make is if I had a plan, if I had a list, if I had something to go by, I would be more inclined to stick to that list. And sometimes when dealing with finances, when you don't have a plan, you can actually get distracted, or you can go too far left or too far right and get off track. Okay, so whenever you are seeking to invest, the goal number one is to make money, right? You want to make money. So when you decided that you wanted to make money, other than going and clocking in and exchanging time for that money, time away from your family, time away from doing what you like to do in exchange for a monetary compensation, listen, when you made up your mind to try to do it another way, trust me, you want to have a plan. All right. You have a plan with your employee, as an employee with your employer. And let me just put a pin in it. I am by far not knocking being an employee. I still am an employee, but I won't be for long. My point in case is that there's nothing wrong with having a job. There's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5 or whatever hours or shift that you work. Don't ever make anyone feel like what you do is meaningless or less than, okay? Because it's jobs that put food in our house. It's jobs that pay us so we can feed our families and provide for our families. So ain't no way I will come up here and downplay an employee. That's not what I'm about. All I'm doing is presenting people with the possibility or the idea that there is other ways to also make money. All right. So you've made the decision, you've decided to invest. And at this stage, if you're fairly new, the only thing you want to see is it true? Is this really going to work? Is my money going to grow like they said? Right. And you started seeing those results, and you're looking, and every day you look with an expectation that it's not going to work, and then you get surprised when it do. Soon enough, that will convert to the expectation that your money will grow, okay, because you've done seen enough of evidence. So now you can believe, right? Okay. And so now you have realized that you've tapped into something that you wish you would have known about a lot sooner when you were younger, right? We can't go back and change that. All we can do is look to moving forward. And that's one of the reasons for this particular training I'm doing for you all, okay? So the first, what you see on the screen is basically the things I will discuss. to help you with establishing or thinking about how you will establish your own plan. Okay. You want to establish some residual income. The likelihood that someone will get wealthy by working for someone else is very slim. It's not impossible, but it's very slim. That window of opportunity for that to happen is slim. Okay. Most times you will find people who work for someone else is relying on the check, month to month check. My nose is bothering me. But anyway, month to month, check to check. That's what we're striving. Sometimes, truth be told, there's more month than money, right? And so you want to establish some type of residual income. And in this group, what I present to you are financial vehicles that allow for you to invest your money in, so that your money can go to work for you, so that your money will make money for you, versus you having to exchange time of your life to be compensated for. Okay. So that's what residual income means, passive income. It's the way that money can be making money for you without you physically clocking in somewhere and giving them your time in exchange for that money. Okay. That's why it's called residual. Your bills are residual. Every month they're going to come regardless of what you do. Right. So why not have residual income? All right. So moving forward, these 5 topics are pretty much phases. They're like a phase that I have devised to help keep me on track. All right. So you establish residual income. So some of you did invest in some of the things that I presented in this group. All right. Then you want to talk about a diversifying strategy. We'll talk about what that is. Next phase is developing your savings or emergency fund. That's important. All right. The next phase is debt elimination. My God, that is like absolutely necessary. So we'll talk about a strategy for that. And last but not least, we will talk about the final phase, which is basically talking about other forms of investment for a longer term effect. Okay. So let's talk about this. Well, let me go here. In the group, the Let's Talk Money Facebook group, I posted today that I will be making this a little fun. So throughout this video, I will be asking questions that I will later on post in the group for an answer. All right. I will let you know in this video when that question will be presented as one of the things needing to be answered. So the qualifications for you is that you have to have an established account with one of the investment vehicles that I presented in this group. And at this time, there is only 2. There was 3, but we're only going to focus on 2. So you either need a MetaFi account, active account, fully funded, or a COTP account, funded. Either one of those accounts will be, I will give some unspecified amount to that wallet, to that account, for your efforts in participating in the game I've attached to this training. Okay. So I will let the person who wins know what that undisclosed amount will be. All right. I can tell you that it will be equal to or more than $100. So just so you know, you have an idea of what you are being challenged for. Okay. So it'll be well worth it, because $100 earning 3% interest daily compounded will definitely give you potentially a hefty amount in a year. Okay. So what I'm sowing into you is not so that you could spend $100 today, but it will, as far as projection is concerned, it will definitely grow your account 6 months to a year from now. Okay. So that's the rules. You need to have an active account in one of those 2 financial vehicles, and you must answer the questions correctly. And you have to do it within the time frame from the time I post that I'm seeking the answers to the end of that time frame. Whoever answers correctly, a winner will be selected. And when that winner is selected, I will contact you personally to get the information about your wallet address, so I know where to send the money. Okay. All right. So moving forward, let's get into the topics at hand. So establishing a residual income. I talked about what a residual income is. All right. For purposes of this group, I have access to 4 financial vehicles, but I've only exposed 2. All right. I actually exposed 3. But one of them currently is inaccessible. So we're only going to focus on 2: COTP and Metafy, METAFI. All right. And so COTP is the most common one because you only need about $9 as your initial investment to be able to activate your account. Yes, $9. However, in order to get the cryptocurrency token that you need to upload, the exchange platforms may require you to have more than $9 to perform the exchange. The one I particularly use, you need to have at least $150 in order to convert Bitcoin or another form of cryptocurrency into the currency that you need to be able to deposit it into COTP. But if you were to happen to have someone who was willing to give you $9 in USDT TRX or TRC20, you can potentially just open up an account with that. So I love that. It's not a high, it's very affordable. It's very affordable. Okay. We spend $9 at McDonald's on one meal, right? So it's very affordable. The next thing why I like it is that it earns interest daily, 7 days a week. 7 days a week. All right. So the COTP is basically a form of crypto arbitrage, ARBITRAGE. You can look it up to see what it means. And it allows you to profit off of their arbitrage strategy. All right. So people on my team are given access to something that allows for their trades to be taken 24/7. COTP does not offer that. Creating an account with them, whatever starting balance you choose, you will be able to take manual trades. Okay. Well, it's not a bad thing because it's still a possibility to make money. But manual trades mean when you're sleeping, you can't manually take trades, so you're not making money. When you're in the shower, when you're getting the kids ready for school, when you're at work, that is taking your time away from being able to manually be in the right system to take your trades, right? So the script that we have available for those on my team, it allows for automated trading, and they are able to trade 24/7 without them physically having to do anything. Love it, love it, love it. And trust me, some of the team members in this group, they love it too. All right. So you have benefits for joining with us here at Let's Talk Money. Okay. So that's one way to establish residual income. The other one is Metafy. You have 2 options. You can actually join for between $100 up to $2,499, and that will earn 1% interest. Excuse me, my nose. 1% interest for 30 business days. Or the next tier is from $2,500 and up, you will earn 3.3% interest for 30 business days. So that equates to about 42 total days. So that's about 6 weeks. Now, your original capital will not be accessible to you for the duration of the 30 business days. However, all profits that you make daily will be made available to you. It does not reinvest. It does not take your profit and put it back into the capital. If you decide to do that, then your contract will start over, meaning your 30-day business day contract will then start over every time you deposit the money. I believe that's how it goes. So you would just basically take your profits, allow your funds to make money for you, take your profits, and then you can decide at the end of the term if you would like to reinvest, and you can reinvest at a higher amount. Okay. So those are 2 things that you can do simultaneously. And I'm looking into 2 more financial vehicles. However, I just want to make this additional disclaimer that whatever I present in this group it's something that I tried myself. I put my money at risk first to see if it's something valuable. Will it help people? Is it easier than some things? how many hoops do I have to jump through in order to be a part of this and start earning residual income? Once I test it out and confer with the other investor partners that I have, then I present it to this group, right? Because my goal is to help people, not hurt people. So that's phase one. You establish your residual income. Now, the two things I talked about is not the only method. There are hundreds, tons of opportunities for residual income everywhere you look, right? But at the end of the day, whatever method you use, you can apply these phases to help you, not just because you're a part of this group, but because this is something that can help you, okay? So you establish your residual income, understanding that that income is being made without you physically having to clock in somewhere to make it. Now at this point, you want to move to phase two when you start seeing your money make money, okay? So the first thing subtopic I want to incorporate here for diversifying strategy is take your seed money out, meaning your original investment in whatever investment vehicle you're using. You should initially have it in your mind that I want to take this money out. Once I have doubled my money or more, I'm going to take my original seed money out, okay? Take it out. Why? Well, everything comes with a risk. There's nothing guaranteed in the land of investments. Everything comes with a risk. Nobody knows what tomorrow is going to bring, okay? So with that being said, we must be responsible, but we also must be realistic, and we must know that everything comes with a risk. I'm not going to ever guarantee anybody who decides to make a financial decision to partake in an investment opportunity, and I'm never going to guarantee them that this is it. This your money will never have any issues, because I cannot make that guarantee. All right. So everything comes with risk. So with knowing that, the smartest way to circumvent around having a hard hit from a failed investment is to diversify your funds. And you do that by, number one, taking out your seed money. So this way, if you lose everything else, you at least have your original amount of money. You didn't take a personal loss. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's step one. That's the subtopic of diversifying strategy. Next, you can either take that seed money and reinvest it in another vehicle, or use your profits and do a withdrawal to place it in another financial vehicle. I recommend the latter, but again, you may be in a space where you are prepared that I can use this seed money, and if I lose it, it will not hurt me, right? It'll hurt my feelings, but it won't hurt me financially. Then you can choose to reinvest the seed money. But if you know that number one, let me say this, you should never use money you ain't willing to lose. But if you did against the better judgment and advice of people, and you know you're going to need that money, then you keep it. Do not reinvest it. Wait until your investment doubles again, and then use that money. But if you know you could spare it, you may use that seed money to be the seed for a new investment, which is cool. All right. But you would remember to withdraw your seed money when it builds up to be enough. All right. So second step in this phase, the first step, take your seed money out when you can. The second step is going to be to reinvest in another financial vehicle. Okay. That's how you diversify. So let me give you a little background story really quickly. I was with another organization, and I currently have over $11,000 sitting somewhere I cannot access. I haven't pulled my hair out. I haven't cried, fallen out. I don't just have $11,000 to throw away. Let me make that clear. But because I diversified my money, I am in a position where that loss, if I don't get my hands on it, that loss will not take me out the game. Let's look at it this way. Because I have other financial vehicles making money. Even though this money is at a standstill, I'm still making money and I'm not at a deficit. So diversifying your funds is kind of like thinking about if that risk should come and the investment doesn't work out, which we established is a possibility. It is much better to be sideswiped by it than to have a head-on collision. Think about the drastic images that would put in your head. Okay, not to traumatize you, but sideswipe, you might need a paint job, maybe replace a part, but you can still go. Your vehicle's still running, right? But a head-on collision may put you out of business. All right. And unfortunately, as much as we tell people not to invest their whole life savings or put all of their eggs in one basket, there is still people that's going to do it because they absolutely feel like that's all they can do to get started. If you put all of your eggs in one basket and that basket drops, you have no more eggs. So diversifying basically allows you, this strategy means you have one investment vehicle rolling and it's doing pretty good. While it's doing good, you're taking money out, first being your seed money, then any additional money to put it in other investments. It's better to have 2, 3, or 4 investments working for you simultaneously than one. Because if that one goes down, you have nothing else that's working for you. So have more than one investment means diversifying your funds into multiple different methods or investments so that it's working for you in the meantime, in the event something goes wrong. But if the Lord blesses you and nothing goes wrong, then you have 4 vehicles running for you instead of just one, right? So that's what a strategy is. If you have to start with something like COTP that has a low startup cost, do that. Start where you are, build it up, and then use the buildup to supply investment capital towards other investments. Okay, so that's the strategy. So now you've got that. You've got a couple of vehicles running in your favor. Now we need to do some work. Notice that phase 3 is establishing a savings and or emergency fund. So yes, as investors, we talk about how having your money sit in a bank earning 0.01 interest actually is a waste of your money, right? And we understand that. And if you don't, I will kind of give you a scenario to kind of make it resonate why that is. But it's a waste of your money because you're losing money, even though it's in savings. And so we don't want anyone to keep all of their life savings just in a savings account. Now, if you have investment vehicles that is earning you money, then it is okay to have a savings or emergency fund. A good number to have for your emergency fund is at least 6 months worth of your salary. All right. Ding, 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 ding. Question number 1 for the game. How many months of your salary would be feasible to have as a savings account? How many months of your salary would be feasible to have as a savings or emergency fund? Okay. Question number 1. If you answer that when I present this question, then that will be one of the questions that will get you in to be considered to be the winner of this raffle. All right. So I'm writing it down because I don't want to forget. All right. Okay. So why do you want a savings or emergency fund if having the money in the bank is not going to give you interest anyway? Well, because number 1, having that amount of money will allow you to, number 1, have money in case of an emergency. Okay, when your money is tied up in investments, depending on the type of investment, some may not give you access to your funds because it's literally tied up in the transactions that's bringing you interest. Some you may, but you have to do different transactions to get it from whatever cryptocurrency it is to a US dollar so you can take care of something. An emergency arises, you may not have time to do all of that. You may need to get your hands on some funds right then. Your tires blow out, okay? Something happens to your furnace or your boiler or something dealing with your house. Listen, the point is, these are not $20, $30 expenditures. You may need to have a couple $1,000s readily at your disposal. You never know. You may decide at this point your investment life is doing well. You no longer want to be someone's employee. Wonderful, great. But you still want to make sure that if nothing else, you have several months of income to cover your basic bills until you get back on your feet doing something else. Whatever the case may be, it's always good to have at least 6 months. You can aim for more, okay? So that's why we say that you already have these investments working for you. You may still be employed, but you also keep a savings as a third component for the just in case when you need to get your hands on some funds quickly. Okay. Um, Once you establish that, next you're ready to go to debt elimination strategy, which is the fourth phase. Okay. Um, let me back up. Let me back up. I want to talk about for a quick moment why it is important to not only leave your money in savings and avoid any other forms of residual income. When you think about having money sitting in the bank, that's not just in your operating account, your checking account, just sitting in savings, and you have nothing else, and you think that that is the only way to earn interest on some on a chunk of money that you have, the reason why that hurts you in the long run is because number one, everything that you're paying for that's loaned to you, you're paying interest on, right? You get a car, by the time you pay it back, you've paid more than what it was worth because you're paying the bank interest. House note, interest, right? Everything that people loan to you, they want extra back from you. So number one, you're having a chunk of money sitting in the savings account, it's not going to earn you the same amount of interest that you're paying out. So you're losing. The second concept I want to offer you is, how does money decrease in value? 10 years ago, you had $10. Today, you have $10. They're both might have a different face on them, but it's still a $10 bill, right? $10 is still $10. It didn't change. It didn't say $10 was $10 10 years ago and it's only a $7 this year. It didn't say that. Where you lose value in your dollar is in purchasing power. So let's say you have money sitting in your savings account that's not accruing much interest, but inflation is rising. I don't even know the percentage. I think we're at what, 20 something percent in inflation now in today's day and age. I mean, your bank isn't giving you 20% of interest on your money sitting there dormant. But what they did was they took your money and they put it in investment vehicles where they are earning that kind of money. They're earning higher percentages on your money. When you put your money in the bank, you give them permission to loan out your money by 9 times. What I'm saying is you are giving them permission to make money off your money, and then they throw you back pennies to your dollar. So while inflation and the cost of goods is going up, cost of living is going up, the money that you have sitting in their establishment is making their money and their accounts go up, but yours remains the same by a few coins. $10,000 may make 36 cents in a year, okay? I'm guessing, depending on the percentage, may make $1 in a year. You've just lost purchasing power of your $10,000, okay? Here's an example of what I mean by that. Let's say 2 years ago, a loaf of bread was $1. You have $10. How many loaves of bread could you buy? Ding, 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 ding. That's the second question. You have $10. A loaf of bread is $1. Let's not include taxes. We're just talking straight dollars. How many loaves of bread could you buy with $10 if a loaf of bread was only $1? I'm going to need that answer. I'm going to need that answer. All right. So we jump ahead a year later, a loaf of bread is now worth $2. You still have $10 of purchasing power. How many loaves of bread could you get now? Half of that amount. But you have the same $10, but the cost of what you're buying went up. And so the purchasing power of $10 has now decreased, because you, instead of getting what you could have gotten when it was $1, you're only able to get half of that. The following year, it goes up to $3. You get what I'm saying? But the same $10 will not purchase the same amount of bread. At the end of the day, it may take all them loaves of bread that you use when it was $1, you may have needed that many amount of breads to feed your family. And here it is a year later, you still need that same amount of bread. So that means you got to cough up more money. Okay. That's how we lose money, because whatever is going up, our money isn't going up with it if it just sits in a place that's not allowing it to compound interest or earn interest beyond 0.01%. You think about it this way. Businesses have to raise prices. We have supply and demand chain not fully operating the way it should. So they're having difficulties getting things. People are not buying as much because their purchasing power is decreased, and their money, they haven't gotten raises to equate to the purchasing power or inflation increase. So they're still having to pay the same bills. Things are costing more, but ain't enough money coming in to compensate for the more. So what do people do? They cut back. They're not going to be out there spending like they should. And so businesses now, they're on a decline as far as how much revenue they're bringing in. So what do they have to do to compensate for paying the bills and the rising gas prices and the rising prices in having to keep your electricity and your lights on? They have to increase their prices. And so now it's a cycle, because everyone's trying to compensate for something, but the only one being hurt is the consumer, who has their money sitting in an account that isn't accruing interest to help them compensate for the differences of everything else going up. So you got your lenders charging you astronomical interest fees, interest rates. You got the stores increasing in their prices, and now you got gas going up, but you were still making the same amount of money with your employer, and everything that you could do, working overtime to make ends meet, means you're spending less time with your family, less time for taking appropriate rest and self-care, less time doing the things you want to do because you're overworked, underpaid, and then you're giving the bank your money to make thousands of dollars that they give you 2 or 3 pennies out of, literally, and you're sitting there wondering why it's not working for you, because you did not understand how money works. Because if you did, you will be at phase 1. All right. So now we're going to move on to phase 4, because we talked about these high interest rates that your lenders are charging you. Even with a good interest rate, you have good credit, you're still paying interest. If your money isn't earning interest so you can cover the interest you're paying out, then you're hustling backwards. All right. So now that you have established the residual income, you've diversified your income, your residual income, you've got a savings account ready to accommodate up to 6 months of your salary. Now it's time to eliminate the debt. I want each of you tonight, or whenever you watch this video, to tally up how much you owe. If I asked you right now, how much debt are you in? Don't tell me, yeah, I got 2 cars and a house. That's not telling me a value. I mean a dollar value. How much debt are you in? Some people know a roundabout. Some people know how much they pay every month, but you don't know how much you owe total. I need you to know this. If you're taking this training, I need you to go and check how much debt you are in and get a solid number, right? When you have that number, now you know what your next goal is. Okay. You've established that your diversifying strategy will require a certain number, at least your seed money, and then whatever initial seed money you need for another investment. Your savings and emergency fund, you've established a number, at least 6 months of your current salary. Now this new number you're going to have to establish in phase 4 for you to work towards is the total amount of debt. Once you know that number, now you know to what you're working towards as you go through steps 1 and 2. Okay. You will now know how much you need to be completely debt free. You want to be debt free because the only interest you want to be involved with is the one that's putting money into your account, not taking it out. Right. All right. So your strategy, here's one step that you could do. You can decide to save it all up, making sure you have enough residual income bringing in that in a certain amount of time, you will have this amount to get you out of debt and you pay everybody off in one shot. Or you can start by taking what you have and paying off your smaller accounts and start from smaller to larger. All right. And as it comes in, you do your withdrawal and you pay it off. The third step is to make sure you follow the 1/3 rule. What is that? Your 1/3 rule is this. Ding, 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 ding. This is the other question you're going to have to answer. What is the 1/3 rule? The way you can answer is when you look at your full amount to the point that you are ready to pay off your debts, 1/3 will automatically be put aside for the IRS. You're going to have to pay Uncle Sam. You're about to be a millionaire. I mean, my God, we're not going to run from him for the whole entire time. You'll have enough money made. You'll be making more money. Anyways, pay Uncle Sam. Get him off your back. Trust me, you want to enjoy this money, not run with it. All right. So 1/3 goes to Uncle Sam. 1/3 is for reinvesting, meaning you're going to put that money back in and continue to let it grow until the next time you're ready to do your withdrawal. And then the last third is what you're going to take out to you for you. You're going to pay off your debts. You're going to pay bills. You're going to do what you got to do. So yes, we have a list of things that we want to do with the money we withdraw. We're going to want to pay bills, and we're going to want to do that. And we're going to want to go shopping. We're going to want to feel like we did something, and that's all cool. But if you are in phase 4, your withdrawal should be concentrated on paying off those debts, starting with the smaller bills on up. Does that make sense? All right. Even if you don't pay off your house note all in one check, pay it down. How much interest are you going to save if you put $10,000 on that one bill until you have enough to pay it off? Trust me, you will see the difference. All right. So that is where we are in the 4 steps. Now you are debt free. You've paid it off. You're employer free, or you may still remain an employee. It's totally okay if you decide to do so. You may just love your job and love what you do. Kudos to you. I applaud you. If I found a job that I love, just because I'm making money in my investments, I may choose to stay there as well. I get it. I understand. I applaud you. But if you decided that you were fed up and you no longer wanted to work for someone else, kudos to you too. Wonderful feeling to be financially independent. You've gotten to the point that you are here. Your investments are making money. Your debts are paid off. You don't owe anyone. The only thing you're paying is the overhead in your house, your insurances, your cell phone bill, Wi-Fi, that kind of thing, light bill. But you have no other debt. Just pause for a minute and bask in that, because it's possible for you now. Whereas before it was I wish. Now it is I will. Praise God. Anyway, all right, you can now move on to phase 5. Phase 5 is where you have made this money and you just know you cannot just let it sit in this investment vehicle forever, right? It would be nice if we can. We're going to hope that it does. But you need to know that there are other things that have a more permanent effect and will be in place for your kids and their kids and their kids. Okay. So I mentioned earlier that I am a licensed financial professional. I am able to give people access to products as life insurance that will help them in the long run. So people think of life insurance, they automatically think, okay, I'll get a death benefit. My family will get a death benefit after I die. But what if I told you that we have access to products that will allow you to benefit from your policy while you're still alive and still benefit your beneficiaries after you're gone? Knowing is such a beautiful thing, because when you know better, you do better. Okay. And listen, I'm one of the things that I love about one of the products I have is called the IUL, Index Universal Life, and they have pros and cons. Okay, you always want to do your own research with anything that's financial, but I can tell you this: it is one of the ways that you can overfund and put your money into safely, almost tax free, to be tax deferred, and it builds money so that you can become your own bank. What do I mean? Okay, if you have $1 million sitting in your IUL, you're able to say, time for a new car. Let me get $30,000. They'll give you $30,000. You will take the $30,000, you will go to that car lot and you will pay cash for your car, because we're no longer going in debt, right? You buy your car straight off the lot. You don't have any tax, any car notes. Guess what? You're good to go. You're good to go. Legal money. You can overfund your account. You can repay that account later. However you choose to do it, it's going to continue to grow interest. All right. That's how people put themselves in position to be their own bank. Instead of me going to the bank to loan money from and they charge me interest, I'm going to get it from my policy, strictly legally. All right. You have annuities. You have different things that you can put your money in to plan for retirement so that you will still have income after you're no longer working, or so on and so forth. All right. You want to look into these things. And here's my disclaimer. You are more than welcome to schedule a free consultation with me so that I can at least expose you to what will be a benefit to you and your kids. I advise anyone, if you have children, while they are in good health and young, get them an IUL. Trust me, they will thank you for it. They will be millionaires by the time they are adults and able to use the IUL while they're still living. And then they'll be able to have money to set aside for their children because they'll already have an insurance policy. Listen, we don't understand this, but we wait until we're sick or hurting or almost about to pass on before we think about life insurance. But you have car insurance and on a brand new car. You get homeowners insurance on a semi brand new home or a new home. We get renters insurance. We get insurance on our cell phones, for crying out loud, all of them brand new. Every insurance they offer is when it's new. But when it comes to our life, we don't think about getting insurance until it's old. We have to reverse that thinking. Okay, the insurance policy is a way for you to capitalize off of how to legalize some of your investments and have it more streamlined and strategized for the long term. Because the goal, let me tell you, in everything that you do as an investor is not for you. It's so that you can partake in the life you want to live now, but it's also so you'll have something to leave behind. You can't leave debt behind to your kids. You can't leave nothing from your employer behind for your kids. Nothing you do in life, if it's not able to leave something behind, then you're just existing. You're not living. So that's why I did this training. Okay. Other things you want to look for when you start making this money. You may have always wanted to start a business, be a business, buy a business, whatever. Now you have the capital to do it. Invest in real estate. Invest in buying land. Land banking is popular. Invest in a franchise, but you will have it to do, because guess what? After you're gone, guess what that happens? That goes over as assets to your children. This is a strategy that people have used for a very long time. When you get your property and you pay it off, it becomes an asset, no longer a liability. And you keep that in your family. Don't look to sell it. Don't get rid of it. We need to have the power of ownership of property and land. You pass that asset on to your children, they already have a positive. You pass that along, as well as the multiple life insurance policies that is already having a very hefty death benefit, cash value, all of that good stuff. Listen, your kids are going to be way better off than you are. That is the goal. We don't want our kids to start from the bottom and then sing about how they are here at 40, 50 years old. Someone could have done this for us, but they were not taught. We are being taught, and it's our responsibility to set our kids up and their kids up so they don't have to live impoverished. When you go through these 4 phases and you carefully plan and strategize and research, you'll be able to do just that. All right. And I will continue to post in this group as much as I can to help everyone. I don't care about how much money I make. I'm always going to want to be able to help other people. All right. So we do have the 3 questions that I raised throughout this video that I want you all to answer in the group. I will post the questions and you will recall from the video, and you will answer them. And I will be posting the questions on a certain day, and I will only give a certain amount of time for it to be answered. At that time, whoever answers all 3 questions correctly within the time frame, a winner will be selected from that person. I will contact that person and I will tell them what the undisclosed amount will be, and I will get their wallet address and I will send it over. All right, so that you can start. Now, if you decide that you want to start your account, okay, if you decide you want to start an account, and you, as long as it's an active account, I will be able to send you that money. So trust me, you want to be in it to win it. Okay, so just an overview first of the questions. Question number 1 is going to be, how many months of salary is feasible for a savings or emergency fund? Question number 2 is, what is the 1/3 rule? Question number 3 is, if you had $10 and a loaf of bread was $1, how many loaves of bread could you buy? Those are your 3 questions, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope that you will participate and be a part of this. I am making it fun, but it's always fun to learn. I'm going to recap what we talked about. We basically try to give a general explanation of your investor planning that you should put in place. You should first establish residual income through various ways. I've presented 2 financial vehicles for you to be able to do that in this group alone, and we'll be bringing more as well. Then you want to diversify your funds using the strategy of extracting your seed money and any additional profit to also establish a different financial vehicle form of investment. Okay, you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. You want to spread them out. Then you want to establish a savings or emergency fund of at least 6 months, right? And then you want to establish how much debt you're in, calculate that, and then strive to pay it off by using the 1/3 rule. Okay, every time you take a third out for your reward, you start paying off the smaller debts on up. Okay, last but not least, once you're debt free, you have your savings account, you will now look for other forms of investments via IUL, annuities, 401ks, operating a business, real estate, retail, whatever it is. But now you want to put a more solidified method for your investments to continue, so you can pass those assets down to your offspring, your generations to come, your children, however you want to put it. All right. That's going to be today's training, guys. I hopefully wasn't up here too long. Remember to answer the questions. Remember to participate. Definitely continue to search this group for more information as I present it to you. I'll thank you for your time. My name is Coach Sybil Kears. Much love and success. God bless. Till next time.